3. Today is your math lesson. This one is number 3. So for this day, you have to work on your math textbook. It is page 75. And for day 3, all you're working on is questions all the way. Sorry, let me put this down and hold this up. So you're working on just the top part of this practice. So you're working on 1A, B, C, and then you're working on question 5. So all of these 4 questions. That's all you're working on for day 3 of your math. Okay, so let's get started. And just so that we are fresh on our division and our multiplication, so I'm gonna do a few questions with you, and then you get to do the rest of them on your own in your math spiral book. Please make sure you have date at the top and you write practice 4A, just like we do in the classroom. Okay, so let's get started and have your spiral books ready and open your math textbook to page 75. Okay, so I have written these questions and I am doing the first one. So 1A, 6 times 3. Okay, so remember this week we are working, or we've started working with 6 times table, and we're gonna go all the way. So for this week, only 6, and then the following weeks we will keep working up and we'll go to 7 times table, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, but for this week, our focus is 6 times table. So if you haven't started practicing your 6 times table, I would suggest that you start doing that. Okay, so I am working on 6 times 3. So now 6 times 3, what does that give us? If you have 3 6s, what would that give you? Okay, so 6 times 3 gives us 18. Right? You could have done it, so you're welcome to use your multiplication sheets. This one. But I would like it if you tried doing it without using this sheet, okay? But if you're having trouble, then feel free to use this sheet to help you. And you will find these in your packages that went home, okay? So 6 times 3 gives us 18. That's all we need to do. We multiplied, right? Then we have division problem. So I am working on, if you look, I am choosing this one to do with you guys in this video. So 405 divided by 6. It's in column B. It's the last question. Column B, last question. Okay, so let's look at 405 divided by 6. And again, you can use these multiplication sheets, or if you know your 6 times table and you've been practicing your division, you may not need to use this sheet. Okay, so here we go. So I know that I cannot fit this 6 into this 4, right? However, if I combine both these numbers, then I need to ask myself, how many 6s do I need to make this 40 or something that is going to be closer? We don't need anything bigger than 40, something closer, right? So how many 6s can we use? And here we go. If I didn't know this, and if I don't know my 6 times table, I'm gonna go to my 6 times table right on this sheet. So I'm gonna look here on my sheet. I'm gonna look at my 6 times table, and I'm gonna go through it and I'm gonna see I need something that's going to make 40 or it's less than 40. We do not need anything bigger. So I'm gonna see 6 times 1 gives me 6, 6 times 2 gives me 12, 6 times 3 gives me 18, 6 times 4 gives me 24, 6 times 5 gives me 30, 6 times 6 gives me 36, 6 times 7 gives me 42. I'm gonna stop myself. I'm going bigger. I do not need anything bigger than 40. I only need to make 40 or something less. And I need to ask myself, how many 6s can make 40? So the number of 6s that can fit into 40 is 36. 6s can fit into 40. So I'm going to ask, how many 6s I need to make 36? 6. So 6 times 6 gives me 36. Remember, our yellow numbers, our whole numbers go at the top. So I'm going to write my 6 at the top. Now, remember, when I'm writing my number, any number that goes on the top, something has to come down. And what comes down and how do we get that number? When we multiply both these 6s, right? So I know that I need 6 6s. So 6 went up, then I multiply 6 times 6, it gives me 36. Now grades 3, if you look here in your times table sheet, do you see how this whole number, the yellow one, it went up? So your whole number goes up and your multiple comes down. Did you see? This was my multiple. This is the multiple I used, 36, right? I knew that I can only use 36. This is my 6 times multiple. So that multiple came right here. Okay, then I subtract, I borrow, and this becomes a 10. 10 take away 6 gives me 4. I was left with 3 here. So 3 take away 3 gives me 0. Am I done? No, I'm not done because I do need to divide my 6 to my 1s because we still have this 5 left in 1's place. So I'm going to bring down my 5. I go back to my 6 times table because now I have to divide this 45 to 6. And I'm not done yet because remember, our remainder has to be the winner. Our remainder has to be smaller than the number we are dividing by, right? So here we go. I am going to see, and I'm going to see if I need 45. I'm going to go back to my 6 times table. I'm going to go and I'm going to look at all the multiples of 6. And it is 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. I have a 45 here. 48 would be too big, so I don't need that multiple. Which multiple do I need? I need 42, right? So I am going to ask myself, how many 6s make 42? So 7 6s would make 42. So where would this whole number go? You're right, it goes at the top. 6 times 7. And where would that multiple go that we just found out? 42. 6 times 7 gives me 42. That multiple is going to come right down here. And how did we get, if I didn't know that I need to use this multiple as well, I need to remember if I'm writing a number at the top, I do need to multiply that number to the number I'm dividing by to get this number down here. Anything that goes up, if something goes up, a number has to come down. Does that make sense? So something, if you're writing a number at the top, you have to have a number at the bottom as well. So here we go. Then we subtract. 5 take away 2 gives me 3. 4 take away 4 gives me 0. So my remainder is 3 and my quotient is 67. Is this number winning? Yes, it is. That's what we always want. If you have a bigger number here, that means you need to keep breaking it until this number wins. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's go to, I am doing another example with you guys. So this was dividing by 3 numbers, right? So this was 3-digit. Now let's look at how would we do if it's just 2 digits, okay? So that you will have a refresher for both kinds of division where we're dividing by 2 numbers and dividing by 3. So here we go. I am choosing 6 times 6 or 42 divided by 6. So it is, this question is column C. It's question 2. Column C, question 2, 42 divided by 6. So let's go ahead and let's look at my 6 times table. So first ask yourself, can this 6 fit into 4? No, it can't because 6 is too big. Now let's combine these numbers, and now we can fit 6's into this 42. But we need to ask ourselves, how many 6's do we need to make 42 or something close to 42? It cannot be bigger, but it has to be something close to. So let's see my 6 times table again, and I'm going to go through my multiples for 6 times table. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. I get to have the exact multiple. There's an exact number in 6 times table because 42 is 6 times multiple. So how many 6's make 42? I'm going to ask myself 6 times 7. So 7 6's make 42. I'm going to write my 7 at the top. Now write my 42 at the bottom because I am eventually multiplying these two numbers to get this number, to get my multiple, remember? So then I subtracted 0 and 0. What's my remainder? 0. What's my quotient? 7. Okay, does that make sense? So after this, I would like you to finish these questions at the top. So A, B, and C, all of these questions. Okay, now before I end this lesson, at the bottom, question 5, I'm going to do one question from question 5 right over here, the first one. They've given you 6 times something equals 36. So they're asking you 6 times what gives you 36? So that's what they've given you, right? So they've given you this question, 5A. I'm doing 5A. It is page 74 of your math textbook. Sorry, not page 74, page 75 of your math textbook. Okay? So they're asking you, am I looking at the wrong question? Oh no, sorry, I'm doing C. 7 times something gives you 42. So this question, 5A, 7, and I'm doing 5C, sorry. 7 times something gives you 42. So 7 times what gives you 42? I'm going to go back. If I do not know my 7 times table yet, I'm going to go to my 7 times table, and I'm going to see 7 times, oh, there is a 42. How many 7's make 42? So this blank square, that's where you need to write how many 7's do you need to make this 42. So I'm going to go 42. I need 6 7's to make 42. So these yellow whole numbers, that's what you're filling these squares with. So I need 6 7's to make 42. Does that make sense? So that's how you're going to do your question 5. So I want you to finish for grades 3, you just need to do questions 1A, 1B, all the way, all those columns, and then move to question 5. Okay, and I will see you in your next lesson, which is lesson 4.